really thought you could keep this a secret from me.
Stop it!
We're leaving now.
He said it again, slower this time, letting the words land like stones. You got fat. The cafe went quiet, not because people cared, but because shame has a way of freezing air. Chairs stopped scraping. Cups stopped moving. Every eye found her body before they found her face. She stood there, hands wrapped around a paper cup that had gone cold. Her coat no longer closed the way it once did. The mirror at home had already told her what the world now felt free to announce. Her ex smiled with the ease of someone who had never carried anything heavier than pride. She did not answer him. She breathed. Her name was Elena Rossi. Silence had saved her life more than once. She had learned long ago that words once released could never be taken back. Silence, though, could become armor. It could become a blade. It could become a promise. Around her, people pretended to check phones, to stir drinks, to look anywhere but at the quiet humiliation unfolding inches from them. No one stepped in. No one spoke. In a city that loved drama, courage was still rare. Her ex leaned closer, enjoying the attention he thought he had earned. He talked about how she had let herself go, how success had made him sharper while time had softened her. He laughed. Others joined with weak smiles, unsure why they were smiling at all. Elena listened without lifting her eyes. Beneath her coat, beneath her steady breathing, her hand rested on the gentle curve of her stomach. Life answered her touch with a faint movement, a reminder that she was not alone. Within the first moments of that cruel encounter, the injustice was clear. A woman being judged for a body carrying a secret, a man mistaking cruelty for strength, a room mistaking silence for weakness. Elena was not weak. She was careful. She had not always been this calm. Once, she had been loud with hope. Once, she had trusted easily. Once, she had believed love could protect her from the sharp edges of the world. Years earlier, she had met him, the man who now mocked her, in a season when life felt simple. They were young, full of plans, convinced the future would bend to them. But ambition pulled him away from empathy. Success fed his ego, and when Elena needed patience, he offered pressure. When she needed kindness, he offered judgment. She left him the night she realized love should not feel like shrinking. After that, her life narrowed and deepened. She worked long hours at a small design studio near the river, fingers always smelling faintly of ink and coffee. Her days were quiet, measured. She learned to find peace in routine, comfort in predictability. She learned how to stand alone without feeling lonely. Then came the night that changed everything. It had been raining, the kind of rain that soaks streets and memories alike. She had taken shelter under the awning of a closed bookstore, arms wrapped tight, when a black car stopped nearby. Not for her. Never for her. Or so she thought. Inside that car sat a man whose name was never spoken casually. Marco DeLuca. A man who moved through the city like a shadow with gravity. People called him a businessman. Others whispered different titles. All agreed on one thing. He was careful. And when he cared, the world adjusted. Their meeting was brief, an accident of timing. A shared moment of kindness when Elena helped an elderly stranger who had stumbled near the curb. Marco watched. He noticed how she moved without asking for praise, how she gave help without expecting return. They spoke that night, sheltered from the rain, words soft and simple. No grand promises. No names exchanged at first. Just two tired souls sharing warmth and honesty. Their connection grew slowly, guarded by mutual respect. Marco never lied about the weight of his life. Elena never asked him to change it. What they shared was rare, calm, intentional, real. When she learned she was pregnant, fear came first, then wonder, then a fierce, protective love that settled into her bones. Marco had not disappeared. He had stepped back, giving her space while quietly surrounding her with safety she never saw. He had promised one thing only. She would never stand alone. Back in the cafe, Elena shifted her weight. The smell of roasted beans mixing with the metallic taste of memory. Her ex finished his speech, expecting tears, expecting a reaction. She gave him neither. Instead, she looked at him fully for the first time. Her eyes held no anger, only clarity. Somewhere deep within her, a line formed, steady and unbreakable. This moment did not belong to him. It belonged to the life she was protecting. She paid for her drink and turned to leave. That was when the door opened. The room changed without anyone understanding why. Conversations died. Shoulders straightened. A presence entered that did not demand attention, but commanded it. Marco DeLuca stepped inside. He wore no flash, no excess, just a tailored coat and a calm expression. His eyes found Elena immediately, not with possession, with care. He crossed the room slowly, each step measured. People made space without knowing they were doing it. The ex's smile faltered, confused by the sudden shift in energy. Marco stopped beside Elena. He did not touch her at first. He simply stood close enough that she felt the warmth of certainty. He spoke softly, not raising his voice, not seeking dominance. He thanked her for waiting. He asked if she felt tired. He asked if the baby had been restless today. The words landed gently, but they carried weight. Elena's ex laughed nervously, trying to reclaim the moment. He made a joke about overprotective friends. Marco turned his gaze to him then. Not sharp, not angry, just present. He said that respect was not optional. He said that bodies change when they carry miracles. He said that men who measure worth by appearances often find themselves very small. No threat, no insult, just truth. Silence flooded the room again, but this time it felt different. It felt like understanding. Marco placed a hand on Elena's back, protective without ownership. The gesture said everything words did not around them. People lowered their eyes. Some felt shame. Others felt awe. A few felt relief that justice had arrived without noise. The ex's face flushed. He tried to speak, but no one was listening anymore. His power had vanished the moment the room realized who Elena truly was. She was not a woman who had let herself go. She was a woman who was becoming more as they walked out together. Elena felt the tension leave her shoulders. Outside, the city breathed again. The air smelled of rain and distant traffic. Life continued, as it always did. Later, news would spread, quietly at first. Whispers about the café, about the woman who stood silent, about the man who stood with her. Stories grow legs in cities like this, but in that moment, it was just them. Marco asked if she was okay. She nodded. He told her he was proud of her strength. She told him the baby had kicked during the confrontation, as if sensing the need to be brave. He smiled then, a rare, unguarded expression. He said their son would learn that silence could be powerful, that dignity could change rooms. That respect was earned not by fear, but by honor. In the weeks that followed, Elena noticed small changes. People treated her differently, not because of who walked beside her, but because of how she carried herself. Her silence had taught them something. Her ex faded from relevance, his words forgotten, his laughter hollow. Cruelty rarely survives exposure to quiet truth. On a calm evening months later, Elena stood by a window, city lights reflecting off glass, her hand once again resting on her stomach. She thought about how close she had come to speaking that day, to defending herself with sharp words. She was glad she hadn't. Some battles are not won by shouting. Some victories arrive wrapped in patience. Some strength grows unseen, like life itself. Elena understood now that respect is not demanded. It is revealed, and somewhere in a café that had long since forgotten the taste of that moment, a lesson lingered in the air. Never judge a body carrying a story you cannot see. Never mistake silence for surrender, because sometimes the quiet ones are protected by more than you know. If this story moved you, share where you're watching from. Let us know what silence has taught you. And subscribe for more stories that honor strength you cannot hear, but can always feel.